Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aradhya Tech World. Today we are going to start the Linux series where we'll explain about the system administration. Okay, so basically I'm planning to start the DevOps series. So before starting the DevOps series or before deep dive into the DevOps series, we'll start with the Linux series. Basically, Linux is a very important to start with the DevOps. Okay, so first today we are going to learn about Linux basics and how to access the command line, then uh, file file system management. Okay, so let's go with the presentation first. Okay, so I will walk you through the each and every slide first, then we'll go into the Linux practical sessions. Okay, so basically we'll start with the what is shell. Okay, basically I'll explain little bit about Linux. So everyone knows about Linux, who evolved this Linux, okay, and who introduced this Linux. Okay, so Linux is evolved by the person whose name is Linus Torvalds. Okay, so basically from his name he gave the name as Linux. Okay, I don't know the exact year, but yeah, before maybe around 15 to 20 years back, they introduced this Linux. Okay, so earlier it is known as Unix. From the Unix, right, Linux Torvalds introduced this Linux. Okay, it is a basically it is a open source. Okay, so you don't need to pay any cost to use the Linux, and you can easily set up your Linux environment on the cloud or on the VMware. Okay, and you can start with the Linux uh, learning. Okay, so basically let me tell you about what is shell. A shell is a type of computer program, okay, called a command line interpreter that lets Linux and Unix users control their operating system with command line interfaces. Shell allows users to communicate efficiently with their operating systems. Basically, shell is a executable program where we can execute the Linux commands. Okay, so let's talk about what is bash shell. A command line is a text-based interface which can be used to input instruction to computer system. Linux command line is provided by a program called shell. The default shell in Red Hat Linux is Bourne again shell bash, and it is the advanced version of the Bourne shell sh. When a regular user starts a shell, the default prompt ends with a dollar character. Okay, let's go to the next slide. How to access command line. Okay, I will explain this slide while during the practical session. Okay, so let's move to the next slide where we'll talk about managing files from command line. Okay, what is file system hierarchy? All files on a Linux systems are stored under the file system, which are organized into a single inverted tree of directories known as the file system hierarchy. This tree is inverted because the root of the tree is said to be at the top of the hierarchy and the branches of directories and subdirectories stretch below the root. Okay, so this is the Linux directory structures. So it is start with the root slash. Okay, so under root we will have this directory structures like you can see in the picture. So slash home slash etc or boot bin mnt tmp, okay, so on. Now this is a basically a file structures, okay, or directory structure. So let us know about each and every directive, what it is doing or what is the meaning of each directive. So basically we'll start with the root directory. It is represented by forward slash. Is the top level directory on the system. Okay, it contains files and subdirectories that are critical to the functioning of the system. For example, slash etc directory contains configuration files for the system. Okay, where directory stores variable data such as log files. Root directory is the home directory for the root user. Home is basically it's a home directory are typically located. Okay, so bin contains the binary file required as the system boot. Okay, has been same as slash bin, but the binary is required super user root privileges. Other important directories include opt, then tmp, usr, media, mnt. opt often used for install software packages. tmp is a temporary storage area. usr contains user related data such as executable and libraries. There are also several endpoints for external devices such as media, MNT. Finally, the slash run directory contains runtime data for processes that are currently running on the system. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So we'll talk about absolute and relative paths. What is absolute paths? So absolute path is a fully qualified name, okay, beginning at the root directory and specifying each subdirectory traverse to reach and uniquely represent a single file. Every file in a file system has a unique absolute path name recognized with a simpler rule. A path name with a forward slash as the first character is an absolute path name. For example, the absolute path name of the system message log file where log messages. So it is a fully qualified name. Okay. So if you go to the particular directory, then you can go with slash where slash log slash messages. You can give this full name. Uh, so if you want to go inside this messages folder, you just type on the terminal cd space slash war slash log slash mass. This is called the absolute path. What is relative path? Like an absolute path, a relative path identifies a unique file. Okay, specifying only the path necessary to reach the file from the working directory. Recognizing relative path names follows a simpler rule. A path name with anything other than a forward slash. Okay, as the first character is a relative path name. A user in the slash or directory could refer to the message log file relatively as log messages without forward slash. Okay, that is called relative path. So navigating paths. So basically how to navigate the path. Okay, we'll talk about this. Okay, the pwd command displays the full path name of the current location. Suppose if I if suppose I'm into the slash war slash log slash messages directory, and if I just type this command pwd, so it will display that particular path. Okay, so which helps to determine appropriate syntax for reaching files using the relative path names. Okay, so what is ls command? It's a basically list the directory contents for the specified directory, or if no directory is given for the current directory. Okay, so cd is basically used to change the directory from one directory to another directory. Suppose I am in the tmp directory, and if I navigate to, or if I want to go to the another directory, suppose opt directory, I'll just type cd slash opt. So it will change from temp to opt. Okay, so now, so let's talk about touch command. What is touch command? Basically, touch command will help to user to create the files. Okay, so you can simply just type a command touch space one.txt, two.txt. You can create a single file or you can create a multiple files using touch command. Okay, so what is ls command? Has a multiple. So basically, we already had a discussion on what is ls. Okay, it's a long listing format. Okay, using ls command, you can display the attributes of the files. The most common and useful are hyphen long listing format. L means long listing. Okay. Hyphen A means all files, includes the hidden directories or hidden files. Okay. And hyphen capital R, it is R means it is basically recursive to include the contents of all such directories. Okay. Suppose if I want to copy uh, particular directory to the some other directory. Okay, so if I just type a command on the command line cp space hyphen capital R and the particular directory name and that source directory name and the target directory name where I want to copy the content of the source directory to the target directory. So it will recursively, basically it will go into the each and every directory and recursively it will copy each and every file and content of that particular directory to the target directory. Okay, that is the use of recursive. Okay, the two special directory at the top of the listing refer to the current directory. So if you do ls hyphen la, ls means non-listing and hyphen la, l means listing, a means uh, which will show us hidden directory which are start with the start dot, sorry, dot. Okay, so dot means is a current directory and dot dot means a parent directory. So you can see these two directory on the each and every directory. Okay, these special directories exist in a every directory on the system. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Command line file management. Okay, how to manage the files. Okay, so basically, file management involves creating, deleting, copying, and moving files. Additionally, directories can be created, deleted, copied, and moved to help organize files logically. Okay, file management commands. Let's look at this. Okay, cp means this command is used to copy the content of the particular directory to another directory. mv means it's which will help to move the one of the directory from one location to another location. Okay, rm, it will help to move the remove the file or directories. mkdir, mkdir command will help to create the directories. Okay, on the linux system. Okay, rmdir, which will help to remove the empty directory. Okay, even will see the various options which are being used with these commands. Okay, I will show you on the system. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, fine, that's it. Okay, we'll go to the practical session now. Okay, so our system is ready, so I'll log into the system. So basically it is a CentOS system. Okay, so I'll check for the IP first. So what is the IP? 192. Okay, I'll log into the server using putty session. 192.168.164.182. And if you want to learn about how to create the virtual machine on VMware, you can see my previous video. Okay, uh, which will help you to understand how to create the virtual machines on the VMware 16 Pro. Even also you can check my earlier videos where we uh, talk about the virtual machines which we have created on the Google Cloud platform. Okay, so it will help you to create it will help you to or guide you to create the virtual machine on cloud as well as on virtual machines. Okay, so let's start with the practical session now. So what is shell and what is bash shell? We already talked about this. Okay, so now, so if you can see, this is our shell. Okay, so I'm logged in as a root user here. Okay, okay, so if you log in with some other user, okay, suppose I'll log in with the, if I suppose switch to this, does not exist. So let me create the user first using user add Satish. Then I'll set the password for this user. Sorry, was WD. Okay, and if I want to switch to this user, you can see. Okay, so if you log in with any particular user, so you can see this character dollar. Okay, and if I exit this, if you log in with the root user, it will start with the hash character. Okay, so how to access command line, we already showed how to log in and how to access the command line. Okay, so let's start with the managing file from command line. So I already explained about the directory structure and the file hierarchies and directories. Okay, so already explained about each and every directory. Also, will we already explained about absolute and relative paths. So we'll talk about these commands. Okay, so I'm in, so if I want to see where I'm exactly. Okay, so if you do the pwd means it's a present working directory. I know I want to see where I'm exactly now. So you can see pwd past working directory, I am under root. Okay, so this is your absolute path. Okay, if you type this pwd command, it will give you the absolute path. If you want to show the directory in this current directory, you just type ls. So I can see ls or ll. Okay, ls, it will just list down the directory, and ll, it will list down the directories with all the permission. What are the permissions are there, which user, which group user, then the size of the directory and all those things. Okay, so if I go to the opt directory and if I do ll, there is nothing. Fine. Okay, and here if I do ls, okay, if I do cd dot dot, it will go into the root directory. Under root directory, you can see this bean, boot, dev, etc, home, lib, media, mnt, opt, proc, root, run, srv, sys, tmp, usr, var. Whatever I showed in this hierarchy, those files are available on these systems. Okay, and if you do pwd, you can see under root, this is the top level directory. Okay, so if I want to go to the boot directory, you will just type this. Okay, this is called absolute path, sorry, relative path. And if I want to go to the some other directory, suppose I'll just come out from this directory and I'll go to the etc. You are going to you are going to means basically you are going inside the each and every directory. Okay, this is called one by one. Okay, this is called relative path. And if I do here ls, you can see multiple directories. So I will go to the alternatives. Okay, so this is called relative path. If I do ls, these are the files. Okay, now if I do pwd, this is called a absolute path, or we can say fully qualified name, path name. Okay, so this is the difference between absolute path and relative path. So now talk about the command line file management. So file, and you can see these are the file management commands. Okay, so I am here and I want to copy this MTA file. Okay, if you do cp, just select that directory MTA, and if you give target directory name tmp and hit enter, so this directory has been copied to this particular directory tmp. If you see here ls, you can see this MTA. Okay, and if you want to move this MTA directory to the slash opt, you can see if I go to the opt, this directory now move to the MTA. And if you come out from this and if you ls here, and if you, okay, if you go to the etc, if you go to the alternatives, you cannot see this. Okay, you cannot. Okay, this is also fine, move. Okay, then let's talk about the rm. If you want to remove this directory, just type mn. It will ask for the confirmation. If you give yes, it has been removed now. Okay, if you want to create a directory, you just type mkdir. I want to create something test. See, the directory has been created, test. And if you want to create directory inside directory, then you just type mkdir hyphen p option. Okay, I have this directory test. If I want to create one more directory, test1, test2, see, and if I go inside the test directory, you can see test1. If I go on to the test1 directory, you can see this test2. Okay, so test2. Okay, under test2, I'll go inside the test2. Okay, there is nothing inside this. This is empty directory. And if I want to remove this directory, you just, if you want to remove the empty directory, just use this command rmdir. Okay, if you just hit enter, so this has been deleted. And if you create something inside this directory using touch command, I'll create touch test. Okay, I have created the test, and I'll come outside this directory. And if you want to create this directory now using rmdir, okay, so it will give you the error like fail to remove test1 directory. Okay, so and it is showing message like directory not empty. Okay, so if you want to remove using rmdir command, just you can just remove the empty directory. Okay, if there is something inside that directory, you cannot remove it. It will give you the error message like directory is not. But if you want to remove that particular directory which has some content inside it, that directory, okay, you just use rm minus rm. Okay, so see, it has been removed now, right? Yeah, I just forgot about one more command. I just showed you touch command. Now I'm inside test directory. Okay, I will create some directory here, touch test. Okay, it has been created now. And if you want to see the hidden directory, you just type ls hyphen LA. See, this is the hidden directory. I have shown you dot. Each and every directory you can see these two directories dot dot dot. Dot means current directory, dot dot means parent directory. Okay, and suppose I am creating one more directory mkdir dot test. Okay, and if you do this run this command again ls-la, you can see this dot directory, and if I just type ls, you cannot see dot txt. Even ll, you cannot see that hidden directory. You need to use this command. Okay, yeah, so that's it from the today's session. Okay, one by one we'll deep dive into the each and every Linux concepts, and we'll learn much more about the Linux system administration in the upcoming videos. So thank you very much by watching this video. Please do like, share and subscribe as much as possible. Okay, thank you so much. Good night. Take care.